Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me. I'm Cheryl. This is Your Journey Yoga. It is an honor and a privilege to have you come with me today on this journey. And today we are going to spend some time giving some feet some love. So if you have been suffering from any kind of uncomfortable, tight, tense, overtired plantar fasciitis in the feet, it's not fun. So one of those where I always like, oh, I'm very sorry when somebody would say they would suffer from plantar fasciitis, and then I got it. And then I was like, oh my goodness, I had no idea. So it can be debilitating. It can be frustrating. It can hurt like bad. So if you are going through that, oh, you guys, wishing you all the best. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that made the biggest difference for me. Did do some physical therapy for it for a long time, did a lot of stuff just on my own, and these are the things that worked the very best for me. So plantar fasciitis, your fascia along the sole of your foot can get really bound up, can get knotted, can get really tight, dehydrated, unhappy, inflamed. So it's about managing how much to work them, how much rest, stretching your calves, stretching through the feet, stretching your toes, activating the muscles at the top of the feet and through those toes. So all of those things coming into play to help relieve that plantar fasciitis and to just get your feet feeling good again. So without further ado, I have some handy tools, my friends. So I like to use either dice or marbles. So whatever you have, it doesn't even have to be that. So something that is small, but not too small, so that you can use to pick up with your toes. I know that sounds crazy. So I just have 5 dice here. You can have as many as you want. If it's a single die, it's all good. Okay, so I'm just going to set those off to the side. And then I have this other little handy guy that's about the size of a golf ball, maybe a little bit bigger, that is a very hard rubber, and it has little spikes on it, and it is called a rubz. RUBZ, or a FOOTZ, FOOTZ ball. And it is designed specifically for your feet. So we're going to use this as a little self-massage myofascial release technique. You can also use a golf ball. So if you happen to have a golf ball. Sometimes it's great, throw it in the freezer. Those golf balls get really cold. That cold is wonderful at helping reduce inflammation in your feet and just gets a little bit deeper stretch. All right, my friends, so sitting. We are going to get into those feet a bit. So bringing the hands forward, we're going to tuck the toes just one at a time. So one foot, tuck your toes, and I just want you to kind of gently press. Now you can lift your knee a little bit, you can keep your knee down, and I just want you to press into those toes in the ball of your foot as best you can. Okay, so be nice. If it's just a little bit and just tucking those toes underneath is enough. So you should feel a pretty decent stretch. And then as you kind of push back through those hands, guide your weight back towards your heel and into those toes. Release and wiggle the toes. Point and flex your foot, roll the ankle. And then place that foot down and we do the other side. So tucking the toes, pressing those toes into the mat. Again, you can lift that knee or you can keep it off. So play with it. Maybe it feels better to do one way on the other side, on this side, than it did the other, and it's all good. So knee can be down or knee can be off. Core is strong, so we're taking care of that lower back and a little push back. Nothing big. So just sitting those sit bones back a bit, deepening that stretch, and you're going to feel initially your body's like, oh no, and it just guards. So tightening all the muscles through the foot, through the calf, through the ankle. See if you can get it to quiet down and relax. And release. Untuck the toes, point and flex the foot, roll the ankle, wiggle those toes. So just whatever you need to do. Get that blood flow. Now we're going to tuck both toes. So both feet, all 10 toes, and I just want you to push back. So I'm pushing through the shoulders and through the hands into the mat to guide my weight back. This should feel good. And when I say good, yeah, it's going to feel intense probably, but nothing above an 8 or a 9. I would say no more than an 8. Let's stick around the 7 and 8. Now as you exhale, I want you to extend those legs and shift your weight back towards your heels. See if you can lift your toes. Let your head be heavy. So it doesn't have to be a perfect down dog. I just want you in that inverted V, and then gently place your toes back down. Come up onto your toes and the balls of the feet, lifting those heels. And then once again, heels come down. Can you lift your toes? Place your toes back down, come back up onto the balls of the feet, lifting those heels. Once again, heels come down, lift those toes. And release the toes. Take the gaze between your hands and walk your feet in to forward fold. Relaxing the weight of the upper body down. So this is going to get the entire back side of your legs. So depending upon how tight you are, you might feel this more in your hamstrings than you do your calves. You might feel it more in your calves than you do your hamstrings. I want you to lean back into those heels. So weight into the heels and lift the toes. So this is activating the muscles through the tops of your foot and into those toes. And then we're going to shift our weight forward into the balls of the feet and the toes. Now it's going to stretch deeper through the calves. Noticing if your quadriceps become engaged. Relax through those kneecaps. And slowly center your weight. Let's roll it up. One vertebrae at a time. And roll those shoulders up and back. So not your traditional yoga, but we're getting some really nice yoga stretches in. I want you to shift your weight to that left foot. Right heel is going to come forward just slightly. So there's not a whole lot of weight on that right foot. Toes are lifted back, and we're going to sit back into that left foot. Right toes are lifted, and if you're able, you can reach down with those right fingertips towards your toes. If you need to support. What I want you to feel is that good stretch down the back of that right leg. So either you're reaching or you're not, and it's all good. But lift those toes just as much as you can. So one way you can actually do this, if you're like, this is really challenging, put a block underneath your foot, a book underneath your foot, a piece of Tupperware underneath your foot to support and lift that foot. Just so we get that length. And slowly rise, core strong, supporting that back. Bring that right foot back in. Left heel comes out. And again, it's not a huge step forward. And we should be able, no weight on that left leg. It's all on the right. And then we're going to slowly sit it back onto that right foot. Just a little bit of weight on that left heel, nothing major. And then we reach down, or you can keep a hold on that right thigh. I want you to really focus on lifting those left toes as high as you can get them. So feeling that long stretch down the back of that left leg. Breathe into it. See if you can quiet down those muscles. The muscles that should be working are that supporting leg. And we're just stretching. Passive stretch through the back of that left leg. Core strong, we rise. And pull that foot in. So now we're going to use our props, that golf ball or your football. And we're going to place the ball underneath that right foot, and already feels good. And you can manage. So if balance isn't so great today, I want you to have a chair, a countertop, a wall, something handy so that you're not worried about your balance. I want you to be able to focus on as much pressure into that right foot as you like. And I just want you to move the ball underneath your foot. You can go straight line forward and back from toes to heels. You can go side to side, cross fibering. You can put some pressure and twist right to left. You can make like an 8 or a big circle. But I want you to kind of work so that you're getting the outside edge of your foot, the inside edge arch of your foot, and just massage however it feels good to you. So really we're focusing on kind of that midsection of your foot right at the arch. So just below the ball of your foot to just to the heel. We'll get the heel and the ball in just a second. But getting all of that middle section of your foot. And you might feel a little ropiness, so the fascia can get bound up and create these tendons, that tendon-like feeling, ropey-like feeling, that you go over and you can almost feel like a chunk, like you're passing over ropes. It's all good. We're going to work through that. And if you find something where you're like, oof, I need to stay here, stay there. If you're using one of the balls that you've had in the freezer, can you feel that cold? Just helping to let go. So I'm finding in the inside of the arch of my foot, just below the big toe, needs a little bit of love. So I'm just going to stick in that area, and then I'm going to kind of roll and find. So we don't want to overwork the area, right? So it's finding a balance of just enough. Always better to have a little less than too much, because that causes inflammation and more irritation. We don't want that. So now I'm going to roll to the ball of my foot and kind of centralize underneath the second and third toe. And I just want to press. And then I'm going to move it to between the big toe and the second toe, and I'm going to press. back to between the second and the third. So I always like to start in the middle just because that's this great opportunity to create space between your toes, all of them. And then I'm going to move between the third and the fourth. And it doesn't have to be perfect, guys. It's not an exact science. It's just moving between the joints, between the digits, to create space and open it up, to stretch, but not overstretch. And now I'm going to back off a little bit with the pressure, and I'm just going to make like a crescent shape right along the ball of my foot. A little forwards and backs on the ball of the foot, getting into those toes. Now I'm going to take the ball and I'm going to move it to the toes and let my toes just kind of wrap around that ball. So I'm going to try and get all 5 toes to wrap around that ball. Now this is a little big to be able to grip, but maybe. See if you can do it. No worries if you can't. It's all good. And we're just going to kind of move the ball between the toes. Again, not an exact science. Just feels good. And then I'm going to transition that ball and I'm going to step forward. You can move forward or you can bring that ball back. And I'm going to take it right to the center of my heel and press. So we love this little ball. So the golf ball is not going to have any give to it. This football has a little bit of give to it since it's rubber. And you can press into it a little bit and it'll give. But with those little spikies on it, it's this pressure point. Acupressure, so nice. And then just kind of rock on your heel side to side. So this exercise and the marbles or the die are the 2 that saved me. Now I'm not going to say that it's the exact same thing for you, but I'm saying it's a great series of exercises to help alleviate some of that plantar fasciitis, and that really invigorates your feet. Our feet do so much work for us. They need some love. All right, so that's good on this side. Now, with those dice or with the marbles, we want to take it. You can do it on your yoga mat. It's fine. I just want you to create some space with those die. Now, you're going to take one. You're going to open up your toes, same foot that we just worked, and you're going to pick up one marble. And you can set it in a bowl. You can set it off to the side. Pick up the next one. So we want to do one at a time. So we're working with those feet, activating and releasing, stretching, activating, carrying, and releasing. And we want to do several passes of these. If you're like, wow, that feels kind of cool, you can take it the other direction and take them back. So if you have 100 marbles, you probably don't need to do this 100 times. I would say maybe 10, 20. So just taking it up and back and re-delivering. Okay, so this mobility for those toes, this is great for neuropathy too, and just go ahead and check it out. Set them aside and just do some ankle rolls. So we just completed that right side, and we're going to do all of that on the left. So again, we take our football, and we're going to take it. We're going to work that middle section of the foot. So this side might feel entirely different than the other side did. Just take your time. What feels good to you? Do you need to stay in one spot? Do you need to shift it and maybe do that side to side motion a little bit more? Maybe it's those circles that feel good and you go in both directions. So even though you go from right to left in that circle or clockwise, maybe you go counter and it feels different. Again, you've got that chair handy, wall handy, whatever you need for balance. And we're just doing some self-massage. How does it feel on this side? And oftentimes it's odd, but we just have plantar fasciitis on one foot. And when you have it in both, double whammy, not so fun. It's bad enough in one. And if you can get it early enough, so if you're just starting to feel it and you're like, I feel like this might be plantar fasciitis, jump on it and really start working. All right, so then we transition up to the ball of the foot. And it's as much weight as you want to put on that left foot. Okay, so we're working the ball of the foot. You can change this up. You can do your little crescent shape, side to side, just along all the toes. If you want to, you can kind of get to the inside edge of that foot. Outside, pinky toe side of that foot. Keeping that core strong, good posture, right? Always wanting to work on that good posture. Maybe you go center. Oh, yeah, that feels good. Heel can be down and really press. Oh, wow, that feels fantastic. Breathe. You can switch it up. Just by the slightest motion of that foot, right, left, front, back, getting totally different sensations. Making sure there's no pain involved, right? So that's not a sensation that we want. We're trying to get rid of that pain. Going back, and then just kind of roll. So when we do those pressure points, right, so where we just push down, you want to make sure that you give it a little love and kind of rock side to side as a little recovery after that and get the blood flowing back there. And then as you're ready, we transition forward, stepping forward so we get that ball right at the center of the heel and press. Oh, yeah. So plantar fasciitis, the pain can come in different fashions, different sensations. So if it feels like, oh, you got a nail jamming right up through your heel, that's what mine was. Not fun, not fun, not fun. So you can have kind of tingling and numbness up your ankle and into the calf. You can have pain all the way up the calf. You can get cramps in your feet, the arch of your feet and your toes. Okay, so now I'm going to lessen that pressure and I'm just going to move side to side, front to back, lifting the toes and allowing a little more free flow movement. So again, it's about working, activating the muscles in the top of the foot to help the bottom of the foot relax. Good. Now I'm going to transition back and I'm going to pull it back to my toes. And I'm going to place that ball kind of right at the space on the ball of my foot between the second and third toe. And then I'm going to shift to between the big toe and the second toe. How's that feel? And then back between the second and third. So why do we hit the second and third twice? Well, because that's the center of your foot about, and that's going to allow that kind of curvature around the ball. And then between the third and fourth. And if you need a little more time and you want to go back between some of the other toes, absolutely, yes. And then between the fourth and fifth toe, that baby toe. Release that pressure and just go that crescent shape once more. And now we're going to get into those toes. So pulling the ball so that it just kind of curves right around the toes and again between the second and third toe, and just see if you can grip that ball. And if you think you got it, lift your foot and place it back down. Go ahead and just move the ball as much as feels good to you. So now we're just right in that little curvature of all the digits, right? So they're just rolling around the ball. And those little spiky guys, if you've got the football. If you don't, no worries. The golf ball is perfect. It's a little bit smaller, actually, so you might be able to grip it a little bit better. And if it's cold, even better. Awesome. All right, so go ahead and set that little football off to the side. And here we go with the left foot. And we're going to find those die, or the marbles. And we're going to lift, and we're going to pass it. Lift. So if you want, this little balance challenge, too. And pass it. Grab it and pass it. If they're too close, pull it away, lift it and pass it, lift it. And again, so maybe you have 15. So you're going to do those 15 passes and maybe you don't go the back. It's okay. So this marble technique or dice technique, I seriously think this was kind of my favorite. It's kind of fun. It's actually a great hip work. Oh, I missed him. Pick it up and pass it, and really getting to know how the feet and the toes work. All right, let's pass it to the left foot, standing tall on that left foot, and go ahead and press the top of that right foot down towards the earth. And then we're going to roll the ankle out and then back to center. Roll out and back to center. We're going to pass up and over those right toes. Shift your weight to your right foot, left toes tuck under, pressing the top of your foot down towards the earth, rolling that ankle to the outside and back to center, back to the outside and back to center, and release, standing tall. One more thing, roll those shoulders up and back, and we're going to transition our weight forward, coming up to the balls of the feet. And then bring those heels down, rock back to your heels, lift those toes. If you like, lift that right foot Breathe. So this is going to activate your quad. It's going to activate the top of your foot. It's going to lengthen through the calf and gently place it down. And we lift the left toes, coming up onto that heel. Breathe and release. And then bending the knees, bringing the knees forward. Sinking, sinking, sinking. Come as low as you can. Little tuck of your chin, working to keep those heels down. If the heels have to lift, that's a good indicator that the calves are a little tighter. Release your hands. And my friend, I just want to say thank you for joining me. And I hope that that was fun. I hope it was informative. I hope it helps. Stay consistent with it. Don't overwork, but definitely stay consistent and get that work in. And hopefully, in a very short time, you'll be feeling a whole lot better. Until the next time, my friends, namaste.